Hi, sisters. um, it's 7 a.m. Ashishtar is looking rough because Ashishtar has not slept because my sixth house is in Aquarius and I did not have never had, and will probably never have a functional sleep schedule. So, I'm gonna make a video. I wanted to start the Astrology Forecast series, and I thought, well, I'm just gonna do it now. So that's what we're doing. I have my tea here, and we're gonna be spilling it. There's three things we need to talk about today. First of all, the Sun-Pluto square that just happened with aspects to Jupiter. The Mars-Venus square, trine, which also just happened with aspects to Neptune. And Sister Mercury is coming out of retrograde in 2 days, so we need to talk about that. So, we have had, I think yesterday, a square between the Sun in Aries and Pluto in Capricorn. Now, when we talk about transits, we need to understand the cycles, right, of the planets involved. Pluto makes a whole turn around the zodiac in about 250 years. It's really slow because it's really far away from the Sun. And the Sun makes a whole turn around the zodiac in a year, right? So, because, well, Pluto spends 10 to 30 years in each sign, depending on how far away the part of its orbit where it is from the Sun. And because it's so much slower than the Sun, that basically also determines the Sun-Pluto cycle. We have 10 to 30 Sun-Pluto cycles for every sign that Pluto is in, right? When I say cycle, I mean the process from one conjunction all the way through the next conjunction. So, for example, the Sun-Moon cycle, that's the lunar phases, right? We start with the new moon, which is the Sun-Moon conjunction, and then we have the waxing phase, the full moon, the waning phase, and the second new moon. That's the Sun-Moon cycle. It's the same for all the other planets. So, Sun-Pluto happens every year. Sister Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008, when the Great Recession started. That was because Pluto got in Capricorn, and it will be until 2024. So for all these years, we're going to be having a Sun-Pluto cycle with Pluto in Capricorn. Now, this year, the Sun-Pluto conjunction was in mid-January. So that was the start of the cycle. Pluto is the planet of metamorphosis. It makes you look deep and realize all the buried psychological stuff that you don't want to talk about. It transforms whatever energies it touches, and it's a very painful process that's very, you can use it in a really positive way because you get naked of everything superficial to find the essence. Again, very painful, but very, very great. Now, the Sun, it's the ego, the soul, the essence. So, the Sun-Pluto cycle is the yearly cycle by which we get naked of all the superficial things that are clogging our energy flow, the way we generate happiness and truth in our life. So again, the conjunction was in January, and well, probably in mid-January you probably had a moment or like a week or so where you realized a lot of deep shit, and it kind of started a cycle in your life. We're now a quarter way in, right? This is a checkpoint, um, and it's not cute. It's not fun because it's a square, right? Squares are tension. Mm, it's also the waxing square, which is harder than the waning square because it's the first obstacle in the way, right? So we're a quarter of the way in to the cycle, and now we are realizing that it's not as easy as it looked when we had the cathartic moment back in January. Um, and there are obstacles. It's a hard thing. Whatever it is that you're transforming in your life, it's complicated. It's also because Pluto takes so long to complete a cycle and to go through a sign, whatever house it's in your chart, it's a process that's gonna take about 15, 20 years, right? So you're every year the Sun and Pluto have this cycle, and it brings you a little bit further into your personal evolution. Mm, but this cycle that we have this year is not the whole thing, the whole transformation that Pluto is going to bring into your life. It's not. It's just a part of it. So the Sun is now in Aries, and it really wants to feel empowered, but Pluto is not letting it because when you're questioning yourself, when you're questioning your essence, that is not that's not empowering at first. It can be when you've come to peace with whatever you have to realize, but it's not at first. Um, Also, Jupiter is aspecting this. Jupiter's in Scorpio. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, understanding, and it blows things up. Wherever Jupiter is in your chart, that's the part of your life that's blowing up right now. Jupiter takes 12 years to make a whole cycle, so it goes at a rate of one sign a year. It's now in Scorpio. That means what is blowing up globally is the dark, hidden, secret stuff. It it has to do with Pluto because Pluto rules Scorpio, right? So it's the same archetype. Um, so the planet of understanding and expansion is in the energy of transformation and going deep, right? And it's sextiling. It was sextiling Pluto right at the same time that the Sun was squaring Pluto, right? So a sextile is really nice. It's an aspect where you feel connected. But the planets that are in a sextile are gonna feel connected in a very cool, mental, air-like way. It's not like a trine. A trine is fire. A sextile is air. It's really chill. So we have this huge 20-year-long transformation in our lives, wherever Capricorn is in our charts, that's being triggered by Pluto. Every year, the soul goes through a cycle with this transformation through the Sun-Pluto cycle. And right now we're at the first quarter, the first checkpoint, where we're realizing that there's obstacles. But at the same time, we're also really understanding this huge transformational process we're in. Now the Sun and Jupiter are making a quincunx. A quincunx is not, it's not cute either. It's different. A square is tension, right? Two signs that are naturally in a square are going to have different elements, a different polarity, but the same modality, right? So Aries and Capricorn, well, Aries is fire and it's yang. Capricorn is earth and it's yin, but they're both cardinal, right? So there's a common theme that these signs relate on. And that's where the tension comes from, because within the cardinal mindset, we have two very different ways to see the world, the Aries way and the Capricorn way. But signs that are in a quincunx, it's impossible to pronounce, they have nothing in common, right? Aries and Scorpio. Aries is yang, fire, and cardinal. Scorpio is yin, water, and fixed. There's no common ground. Jupiter and the Sun are connected right now, but not understanding each other. So the kind of conflict that this creates is not a tension, it's a misunderstanding. That means that our ego, which wants to feel very empowered and strong, and it's frustrated because it's in conflict with our transformational journey, is also in a place where it doesn't really understand the depth of what we're exploring right now. But this principle of understanding depth and going deep down to the bottom of things is really clicking with our larger scale Pluto transformational journey, right? So this is a three-way thing that we're having now. And you know, you're probably gonna want to make some kind of change in your life. If you feel you have to change things around, do it. But Saturn's in Capricorn, right? So I don't know you, I don't know your life, I would have to see your chart. But if you ask me, I would generally not rush into things. Right now, with Saturn in Capricorn, things work when they're properly planned out. Saturn's not in Sagittarius anymore. We can have spur of the moment decisions right now because they're probably not going to work, and you want things for the long run now. What else? We have the Venus-Mars trine, and both planets are in sextile with Neptune. That's great. That's very nice. No harsh aspects here. It's all cute. It's all pretty. Venus is in Taurus. Taurus is its home sign, so she's feeling great. Venus hasn't been in one of its two home signs since I think November or like October, fall, mid-fall. So now we're at a moment right now where we haven't really felt in months in a moment where we had to make real choices. Venus is the planet of choices because, well, it rules Libra and Taurus, right? Libra is in the middle of two worlds and sees both sides, so it can choose. Taurus has what it wants, what it has, right? And does not take bullshit. It knows what it wants. When Venus is in Taurus, we feel connected again with the things we want, with the things that are good for us, the things that we want in our life, the things we deserve. Then Mars is in Capricorn, and it does not take shit either. Mars in Capricorn wants to build things that are constructive, things that it can use later. And it wants to work, 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 and just get stuff done, right? It's a harsh time now with all these planets in Capricorn. We have to really do a lot of work, whether it's emotional, physical, mental, a lot of work. But Venus and Mars are in a trine now. So this is a very good thing because we are realizing what we want in our life, and this realization is very nicely connected to our drive to get things in place, to get stuff done, and to make things happen. At the same time, both planets are sextiling Neptune. Neptune in Pisces. When Neptune gets into Aries in 2026, we're gonna miss Neptune in Pisces. Pisces is the home sign of Neptune, and well, Neptune by itself is kind of almost a connection to the divine, right? Pisces and Neptune are, well, Pisces is the last sign, and it completes the world, right? It's the things that we don't understand, but we don't have to. It's a little bit of, if the 12 signs are the 12 particles that make up the world, Pisces is the last ingredient that the universe needs, which is magic, right? It smooths things. It smooths things. Smoothest. I don't speak English. It smooths things out. It makes things. It completes things where there's. It gets things to work together. It floods everything in cosmic magic. It's beautiful. Neptune is connecting us to a non-superficial, eventually the truth in our lives, the things that beyond all physical, mental, whatever stuff you're going through, what you know at the end of the day is true. Neptune tells you about the stuff that you're gonna want to have done in your deathbed. The day you're dying, you're gonna look back and think, I should have done that. Well, Neptune is telling you to do that right now. That's Neptune's job, right? It tells you, it gives you an incredible amount of energy, luck. It saves your ass. It does everything to get you to do what you love. So the fact that it's really connecting to both Venus making choices and Mars getting shit done at the same time that these two are connecting, that's amazing. And we're going to talk now about Mercury, and then I'm going to sum it all up. Mercury's coming out of retrograde. Okay, so if you don't know, planets go one way generally, right, around the zodiac. We're obviously talking about planetary positions from the Earth's perspective. Planets don't change their way around the sun, but they do around the Earth. I burped. I have to burp. Sorry. Um, so, the retrograde part of a planet's journey, Mercury is now in Aries, right? So, it was going this way, and then it stopped. It went back. Now we're here. It's gonna stop again, and then it's gonna redo all the way that it's done already twice. So when a planet goes retrograde, it walks the same part of the zodiac 3 times. First, in a normal motion, then backwards, and then upright again. This is very important. Mercury retrograde has a really bad reputation among people who don't really know about astrology, but it's really important because Mercury is the planet of the mind and the mindset, right? So when it stops and it looks back on everything it's done, which is what retrograde means, you stop, you look back, you look at what you've done, you go back, think, not do, think. And when you've rethought everything, then you go back and you build again what you were doing in the first part of the transit. So Mercury's gonna, it's stopping now, and it's gonna go direct. It's gonna end the retrograde phase. And this is great, because that means we're at the end of a lot of rethinking. We've been rethinking since... When did Mercury go retrograde? I don't remember. A couple weeks ago, I guess. It usually takes it a couple weeks. I'm going to check. So, we've been rethinking a lot, and now we're at the end of all this rethinking. Mercury went retrograde on April 1st. And since then we've been, and now we're at a point where we're realizing, we're getting conclusions out of all this rethinking. And we know where to go now, right? We have a clearer mind. We have a lot to think still, because we have to, Mercury still has to redo all the work that it's gone back on, but it's more comfortable. It's a more comfortable place when it goes to direct than when it's retrograde. So putting all of this together, right now I'm gonna guess that most people at this moment in their lives are realizing shit and feel the need to do stuff, make choices, and change things around. Let's recap. The Sun in Aries is squaring Saturn and Pluto, which is sextiling Jupiter in Scorpio, which is quincunxing the Sun in Aries, right? That means the ego wants to have everything its way, but it's afflicted by a very long transformational journey that we're all in. And it's realizing that things are complicated. At the same time, we're really understanding our transformation, but we're not connected to it energetically, right? So, on this transit, I'm going to say look back on what you were doing around mid-January, when we had the Sun-Pluto conjunction, and try to connect with what you felt back then. And you're gonna have to change stuff in your mindset to Mercury coming out of retrograde, but try to connect with where you started before you change things around. Then we have Venus in Taurus trining Mars in Capricorn, both sextiling Neptune in Pisces. We're realizing what we want, we're very ready to get it done. And if we're doing it right, we're connecting to a higher source of knowledge within it ourselves that's telling us this is the right path, this is the truth. Out of every superficial crap you have in your head, outside of all the crap you have in your head, this is where you want to go. And at the same time, we're at the end of a lot of rethinking, and we still have to do a lot of thinking, but we're at a place where our mind is much clearer. So, choices, changes, you're going to want to make them. Be careful about them, but do it. Plan ahead. These times, these Capricorn times, it works better. Try to connect to January. And we're going to have a new moon in Aries with Uranus in a few days too. So I'm going to talk about that, I guess, when that happens. But there's going to be electroshock in your life at the end of this week and Sunday, I think. Be ready for that. The way to be ready for that is trying to find why you're doing what you're doing now. Trying to connect to that moment where you realize that you needed to transform. And this is it. We've done the forecast. I hope you liked it. I'm sorry, this is a really long video. It's gonna take years to upload. But yeah. Tell me in the comments what I did right, what I did wrong. I want constructive criticism because I want to get better at this. And yeah, we're done. We'll see you around. Take care and connect to some Pluto. Bye.